Hello and welcome to BTG Magazine, Bridging the Gap, Strategizing for Student Success. My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am one of your hosts. I am the editor in chief of BTG Magazine. Taking center stage and owning it with me is Coach Ray. He is up in the house. And our editor, Steph. And so we are here to talk to you and talk to our young people, the educators, the administrators, and we're here to just encourage you with our young people. And BTG really focuses on youth leadership. The same way we would talk to our adults about career development, we want to talk to our young people about the importance of being strategic and intentional with their lives. We're coming out of the holidays. And now it's time for us to, have a new start, fresh start, top of the year. And we want to just encourage the being strategic and intentional, focusing in on and grabbing and harnessing the year. So as we think about being at the top of the year, Happy New Year, guys. First time together. And so Happy New Year. So as we begin to start the year off right, what would we tell our young people? I know I did some research. It's about time management, organizing, getting your academics calendar, your extracurricular activities under control, and then tapping in emotionally, seeing where you are mentally and emotionally so that you start the year off right. Coach Ray, you are one who is in the thick of it all. Stephanie on the outskirts, whenever somebody needs us, we come in, we help them, we talk to them, but you are in the thick of it. Talk to us about where our young people should be. Tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what kind of work you do, and how you're directly connected with our young people.
Yeah, well, first off, Happy New Year. And my name is Coach Ray. I am the founder of Coach Ray Inspires. What I do with young people is I'm in the building. I'm in the school building. I work in a high school. I coach football. I'm a youth director at a church, uh, board member at YMCA. Like you name it, everything that I do is in the trenches with young people. There's nothing that I do. There's no position that I work in where I'm not working to elevate, guide, mentor young people. So the beautiful thing about it is that my ears to the ground on a daily basis. I have these conversations. I have these meetings with young people where I'm trying to guide them into being better. So for me, one of the things I would say for them now is definitely work on taking inventory on who you're allowing in your life. That is key.
Yeah, checking in is so critically important.
Yeah.
Yeah, checking in and checking who. I always, my one of the things that I say a lot, and sometimes people can look at it like it's a cliche, but if you deeper and instead of you looking at it, because I know a lot of people say a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't do that. When I say something, I'm going in deep about what I'm
Right.
saying. And so when I talk about being the CEO of your life and making chief executive decisions, is one of these things right here, is that you have to know who's in your boardroom. If you are the CEO, who's in your boardroom? Who are the people have access to you that will influence you, will advise you, who will hold you accountable? You need to think like that. And the sooner we can get that concept into our younger people, the earlier we can get it into them, the sooner that they'll be making very grounded and wise decisions. And it's critically important because who you're around and who you allow to influence you can either make or break your dreams and your futures. So Stephanie, I'm gonna and say, what is your, as a editor, someone who helps people to elevate in their writing, and how they're presented, literally. Um, what would be your recommendation? Because they're coming back off the holidays, and I can remember when my kids were young how important it was to make sure that they stayed academically involved during the summer, because they lose that momentum during the time that they have that downtime. So share with our what would be your advice?
My advice would be, this is especially to parents that are like here in the Midwest, they're tired of the remote learning days. Don't rely on just what your what your teachers are sending you for remote homework on your Chromebooks. Get them involved. Have them find a new recipe you've been wanting to make and have them help you in the kitchen. They're learning the reading skills. They're learning step-by-step instructions. They're learning math with measuring, all of those things. They're learning about different colors and health and science. Cooking is such a wonderful way to get the kids involved. And then maybe they can, you can have a family newsletter, and you can have each of your kids, if you have more than one, write a review of what they thought about the new meal. Get them into writing and get them to use their pen or their pencil to write. Don't have them just typing on the computer. Chat GPT is working its way down into our youth, and it is not good. They are relying on it like Google. They're not just using it to write term papers anymore. They're using it to do their homework by asking Chat GPT the answer to a question instead of Googling it. You can't do that because Chat GPT is just scraping from all the websites that are out there. So it's taking little bits of information from everywhere about a topic and mashing them all together. So you're going to get some facts and you're going to get some fiction. The other thing to start bearing in mind is, as someone that's on several community boards, scholarships are coming up due for high school seniors that are going into college. As far as I know, all the college applications are due. If you missed your chance to get your essay looked at, you better hope that you did good, because that's critical. And there may still be some colleges that take late admissions, but I don't think there's a lot of them. But start planning for next year. It's never too early, if you're a sophomore even, to start thinking about what schools you want to go to and how seriously you're going to put the effort into getting into the school you want to go to.
So you're talking to our high school students. And that's really good. I really love how you talked about getting them involved in the cooking and the recipes and the undercurrent of what's really happening in regards to learning, right? Learning gets transferred. I always talk about real life application of concepts and things that we read about. Knowledge is power. However, when knowledge is applied, it's powerful, right? It's life transforming. And you talked about how the recipes help with math and understanding measurements. And also, too, it takes away from the pressure. So, of learning to read or read even fluently, because it's an activity that's family involved and family, the focus is not on performance, it's about engagement and having fun. So you really take away that stress or stigma of not being able to read well, or a kid reading, because it makes it more, it normalizes it to say, okay, this is normally what we do, so we just go ahead and do it. And when you're in that state of emotion, you're more relaxed and your performance comes out better. Excellent tip. I can't say it enough. And you don't have to have a lot of money to do a recipe, right? You can buy something in a box and just say, hey, let's do it. And it also teaches children how to prepare a meal, right? Teaches them how to prepare a meal without them even realizing that that's what they're learning. How many things as kids did we learn and apply in our life later without realizing that we were actually learning a new skill, right? We didn't know. I remember even when we had to take, so every Saturday we went to the laundromat, we did the laundry, today, Saturdays in my mind, I'm conditioned that that's a cleaning day where you strip everything out and you put everything in that's new, and that's a fresh start to the week. So all of that teaches children or young people discipline and how to either cook a meal, clean a house, what's required to live every single day. And I think that we've gotten so far away from that that we do need to go back home to it. So that was, again, I really enjoyed that tip. So Coach Ray, what's up? You look like you were ready to jump in.
No, I was late, and I was going to jump in on, waiting for y'all to finish, but it does speak to them learning those daily tasks. But what it actually does amplify is spending time with your kids. So, as a parent, if you're taking the moments to do these, you're proactively spending time with your kid, which means you're getting to know your kid on another level, which means that those things that they don't tell you, they'll start to feel comfortable telling you. So, for example, like even with my daughter, I pick her up from school. One of the things that we do is it's conversation in the car, but we do other things throughout the time where we might just, I don't know, like one day she painted my toenails. I was just like, all right, cool. Well, she painted my toenails, but it was we had conversation in it because I was spending time,
Right.
teaching her how to cook certain things, because you gotta know how to cook, but two, that's taking time to spend. And I think a lot of times parents, because the world moves so fast and there's a lot of things going on that we often neglect. Let me pause for a moment. Let me see if my daughter or my son or my kids know how to make eggs. Let me see if they know how to, because if they don't, one, you're teaching, and two, again, that's that opportunity to spend time in conversation, which is necessary.
Yeah, and it's cool. I love the fact that you let her paint your toenails, because a lot of times men, men get funny. You guys get funny. You're not touching me. Don't do that. Da, 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 and you miss out on the bonding that just like you said, the bonding that breaks the barrier of communication, breaks the barrier of secrecy, right? Them doing their thing and you just not knowing. And sometimes in some cases, you may not know until it's too late about certain things that are going on. On that list of areas of focus at the start of the year was talking about emotional soundness, or you're
Mm-hmm.
emotionally sound, checking in to make sure. And a part of that bonding is making sure that your children are emotionally sound. Taking time to spend with them, because we grew up with this as well. I know we're different ages in this little forum we got going on here. However, one thing is still remains the same: is kids want quality time. They want quality time with their parents, quality time with their aunties, quality time with their uncle. They want quality of time. And when we take the time to not be so adultish, grown, that we're not connectable and relatable to our young people, we bridge that gap. We do just what we're talking about in BTG magazine, is that we bridge the gap of that separation, and we allow dialogue, which dialogue leads to what? Influence. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, we want to be able to influence our young people positively with our wisdom, with our life experiences, the lessons that we've learned along the way. And so I'm going to put it back to you. What's happening this year? Okay, so we're here in January. We know things wrap up really quick for the school year, because the academic year is not like a regular year. It begins to wind down starting May, into June, with all of the proms and graduations. What's going on in your particular area? What's ahead? Any activities, any events going on? What's happening?
For me, there's a lot of things that we have going on. Of course, ring dance is coming. That's going to come fast. We got ring dance in March. I work also in my school. I'm one of the co-sponsors for the Black Student Union, and we have our annual sneaker ball, which is, it's going to be soulmate themed, so it's Valentine's themed. We have a trip planned to go to the African American Museum at the church. There's a lot of things that we're planning and nuances, and a lot of, because kids need stuff to do. You leading up to, like, a lot of people are kids. We got seniors, and
Right.
once I was telling a group of seniors the other day, once that door closes, reality sets in. So while you're in high school, enjoy it, go to the dances, have fun. Don't shut the door on the experiences, because once you walk across that stage and take that diploma, like, it's over. That safety net gone. All those little, people check, like, enjoy the moment. So all the things we have leading up, and there's a lot more coming, but I try to be as active as possible in these things because that's where the kids are. And just being the consistency of seeing me in the school, and then they're having an event and they don't think you showing up, but then you walk in the door. Like,
Mhm.
that speaks volumes as an adult in their life. So I'm excited to go through this journey with these kids and get them through to their senior year. Because last year, and I'll say this, last year's senior group, like, that was one of them. I've been in school system for over 20 years, and I've worked with kids for over 20 years. But this group, it was one of the most emotional graduations that I've ever been a part of, because these were the kids that came in during COVID. So I was able to watch them from being COVID kids who didn't understand social interaction because they had been out of it for 2 years, to, like, watching them become great young men, great young women, great students, great people, so, and leaders. And so when they, like the graduation, like, I'm sitting in the crowd and I'm like, is that a tear? Like, what is it? So it's that's the thing about it, being proactive and being a part of the journey
Yes.
is the important factor.
And it's so important to sow that seed, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't look for kids to show up for you later on if you didn't sow into them,
Right.
right? So if you don't sow into them, you are not going to be able to reap from them. And I know that sometimes as adults, we're looking for something out of kids that we did not put into them.
Right.
So it's a sacrifice. One thing that I wish I had known when I had my children younger is that instead of us as a society in the US looking at our children as a burden, we look at them like everything is financial, is the money, and it's not realizing or not taking advantage of the fact that you have somebody that you can make out to be somebody. That should be the focus, not because they grow up fast. And before you know it, they're adults. And you were so focused on them being a burden to you, and that you're going to have to sacrifice so much that you didn't put into them what you should have put in or you could have put in when they were younger.
But
And
here's the funny
so,
thing. I'm sorry, but I like what you just said, because this is the thing. We've created a mindset that they're burdened, but like you said, they are kids.
they're a
So if they're
blessing.
a burden, they're a result of what you put in them.
Yeah.
So any
Yeah.
burden that you feel is on you as the adult, because you injected what you wanted them to be, they became who they are by watching you, what you poured in or didn't pour into them. So if they were a burden, that's your fault.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the mindset. So the mindset of them being a burden is introduced to us through society.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even something that we, individually think of ourselves. You go into a family discussion, or you're going anywhere, you hear anything. Oh my God, children cost so much money. Oh my God, children are so expensive. Oh my God, not that we have these amazing opportunity to contribute to our society by this individual, right? By how we raise up and cultivate this child into a full-fledged, independent, positive contribution to our neighborhood, our society, our community. We don't look like that because society automatically trains us and conditions us to look at children as an expense, and they're not. They're priceless. And the other thing is too, we don't realize that once they are born, time is of the essence, because they're going to grow up very quickly. And for those people who are still in the parenting mode, you don't get that until you look up and you're like, they're your height, right? You look up and say, oh my God, you are really growing. No, how old are you? You look up and say that, and then by that point, they're already gone in a particular direction. And so my blowing of the horn or sounding of the trumpet is to say, hey, they're not going to stay little forever. And I can say that in the sense that because my children are older, my children are, I always say it, 37 and 32. And I have a 14-year-old, not a little 14-month, a 14-year-old granddaughter. And I can remember walking up the stairs one day and saying, whoa, how old is so and so, and how old is they're because it does happen quickly. And it's not a long time, and it's not a forever sacrifice, just like you said, Coach Ray. If you parent properly, not perfectly, but if you parent properly and you do the investing in your child, it's not for long. It's not for the rest of your life. It's for a set time. You're always going to be mom. You're always going to be dad. But it is it does shift. It shifts from their dependency level on you. If you do it right, it shifts their dependency level on you, and it does happen fast. And so, Stephanie, I saw you shaking your head and saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Talk to me about what your thoughts are on this. And again, we're focusing on, hey, grabbing a bull by the horns. This is top of the year, and making sure that we felt like we didn't have momentum on, now is the time to kind of gather yourself and grab that momentum now.
Mm-hmm. One of the big things that I have coming up is starting Monday. I'm going to be doing a 3-part series with a group of high school seniors that are in a group called CEO, where they're learning how to run businesses. So Monday, I'm going to be talking to them about how to leverage their local newspaper, what they're going to get for free and what they're going to have to pay for, and what value they're going to get out of those activities. Next month, I think I'm talking about how to use social media to get your business across. There's so many different types of media these days. And then I'm also going to be I don't even remember what the third one is. It got delayed so long, I don't even remember what I'm doing. But that's one of the big things I've got coming up. And these kids are so smart. I have covered them with both of the newspapers that I've written at before. They know how to make pitch decks already and pitch sheets and develop business plans and budgets. And these kids are amazing. And I've interviewed some of them after they've graduated from the program, and they're in college still running their business that they started during CEO on the side. It is so enriching to see these positive steps that our youth are taking towards the future. And then as soon as I get done doing that, I'm going to be starting to judge scholarship applications for the local Lions Club I'm in. If your kids are not active in the community, if they're not helping, if they're not in the environmental club, in Leo's, or in a scout troop, or doing something where they're out in their community, get them involved. They need to be doing something to give back to their community. The clubs I'm in, I'm 49, and I am one of the youngest member in all the civic organizations I'm in, because youth these days just they don't see the value of these organizations, of the camaraderie, of bouncing ideas off of each other, of seeing yourself in the newspaper for doing something good, of seeing someone cry because you donated something to them that they need. Yeah. Just get involved.
Yeah. And you know what? I charge the adults, because you can't wait until a kid is big and then start telling them the importance of giving back to the community. You have to talk about community. And this is something that we've been talking over the years about, is what are you talking about at your dinner tables? What are you talking about when you're driving your kids to these different extracurricular activities? What is the conversations inside the families? What's the conversations among siblings? I know me and my brother and sister, we talked about life. We sat around the beds in our rooms, and we were talking about life, and we were talking about our futures and this, that, and the other, and things like that. So it's really, kids do what the common conversation's about, right? That's what they lean towards. That's the influencer. Am I correct, Coach Ray? So if you're talking about sneakers, then guess what? Their focus and their value is based on the sneakers. But if you talk about core values about the family, you talk about traditional family matters, you talk about, hey, these are the boundaries, these are do's and don'ts, these are rules, and these are rule breakers. When you have a family that talks about the family and what the family is about, that's what becomes a value system to that young person. And that's what they're going to be in pursuit of. Unless every once in a while you'll have a kid that bucks the system, who bucks the family, who does not believe what the family is saying for whatever reason, and does and tends to go in their own direction. But that is not always the norm. It's what is being valued and taught in the home that becomes the value. So if we are not seeing kids involved in giving back into the community, take a look at what the conversations are about among the adults, and that's where you're going to find their value system. Coach Ray, I saw you leaning.
A lot of times it's more than the verbal piece. It's, are you leading by example? Because we can easily say what should be done and how it should be done, but if the kids don't see you leading by example, what value is in it? Is it for you to tell them what to do? So if you should be doing this, you should be doing it, but you as an adult, you're not active in your community. You're not supporting the local community. You're not doing anything. So why should a kid find value in what you said? And I
Right.
think a lot of times when it comes to adults, we do a lot, and adults tend to do a lot of what kids should do, but there's no example for them to follow. So even touching back on what Stephanie said earlier with the cooking and teaching them how to cook and do all those things in the house. Well, if I didn't have that example, how do I know how impactful that is for my kid? Because a lot of
Right.
parents, and we're talking different different communities see values
Yeah.
different ways. So, for example, like if in my community, like it's not prevalent for that because our parents work a lot. So if my parents work a lot and they just give me access to DoorDash and I buy food or what have you, then we're not going to spend time cooking until it's a holiday. But because I'm so used to not being in the kitchen with my mom or grandma, whomever, or who my father or my uncle, whoever, I'm not gonna go in there and be like, yo, show me how to make the mac and cheese. Because I don't have that example. And I think we oftentimes will say what should be done, but if the example has never been set, well, how do we practically get them in the mindset of this is how you should do it? Like, if I've never seen it, so how do I know that that's going to help my kid? Because I did, my parents didn't do it, and I turned out fine.
Right.
So that's why I think a lot of times when we discuss things, it's prevalent and important information, but we have to remember the dynamic of every community is not going to look at it the same way because the values are different and the structure is different and the way of life is different because of the things that go on. And that was just my thought.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. So based on the conversation, whatever that conversation, whether it's highly intellectual or
Mhm.
highly hood, whatever it is, that conversation is going to 9 times out of 10 have a higher probability of showing up and how that young person's value system shows up.
Right.
Unless, like I said, something innate in that individual child seems to buck the system, because that happens too. Because in my family, I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
norm.
There's always
I'm,
one.
I'm,
My
I'm
granddad
abby
always said there's
normal.
always
So
one.
so I go this way and my family goes that way. Now there's some things that I do follow, but there's something about something that was inside of me that drove me to say, no, this is the course I must take.
Mm.
So I say this to say too, I get it. I understand that part in which you say, if I did not have exposure, but some things I did not have exposure to. But there's something about life experiences, and sometimes you get exposure to something that will cause you to begin to think in a different way and start saying,
Mm-hmm.
well, hey, I did not see that model to me, but I really like that. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to start applying that in my life. Whether it had a significant impact on how I turned out or didn't turn out doesn't matter. I like it. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. And now I'm going to build my own experience. I'm build my own journey that does not necessarily look like my family's, but it does. And that's where BTG was really birthed out of from me. From me, it was birthed out of the fact that maybe we may see our family show up and do certain things, but a young person does not have to be stuck there. They can make their own decisions. They can say, I don't like that path. I'm going to go down this path. And this is going to be the journey, but they got to own it. And that's where own it comes from. You just got to own it. And that CEO mindset is that mindset that says, I'm going to now take control of my destiny. And I don't like what I see, or I do like what I see. I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to take that piece, but just opening up their mind. I like what one of the great thinkers thought. I don't remember whether it was Socrates or Plato or whatever. It said, question the teacher, question the system, question, and they, question those things. And I believe, and I agree with you in the sense that we can't just say things. We have to model them so that our children can actually shadow us. So my kids got to see everything that I did, whether it was they saw me pray and fast. They saw it because they were a part of it. They had to come with me to the church or come with me to so-and-so's house, because we didn't always pray in the church. We prayed in people's houses. So they came with me. They got a chance to not only see their mom pray, but they were also encouraged to pray and to go up. If there was a mic in the front of the room, because you already know, Coach Ray, I know you know, if there's a mic in the front of the room and we're praying, they even were encouraged. If God gives you a word, you go up and you speak it out. So they were encouraged to not only witness the different things that we did, they got a chance to actually apply and take ownership of that behavior or mindset independently for themselves. Case in point, entrepreneurship. Not only did my kids see me run my own business, but I taught my daughter how to sell plants. Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day. Let's go buy a bunch of plants from Home Depot and just go to the door and see who didn't get their mama a gift and sell these plants for $5. So as a kid, I learned entrepreneurship because we used to grab out when it snowed like it's snowing over there. We wasn't home. We would grab, because my cousin Chauncey, Yvette, myself, Timmy, Greg, we would all grab shovels and we would walk up the street and see whose driveway needs to be shoveled. And we would make our money and we would go to Italian Village, and have us a sub, eat, and then go on our way. Same thing in the fall. When the leaves fell, we did the same thing with rakes. So no one showed us that. That was us sitting around as kids, coming up with a way. We want a sub, right? How are we gonna make that sub money? Because my mom was a single parent. How are we gonna make? And that's how we learned. But then when my kids came up, it was important for me to share with them my life experience. And as a result of sharing with them my life experiences, it encouraged them. My daughter now braids. My granddaughter is actually putting 14. She's putting eyelashes on people. She's doing so. We have to, just like you said, Coach Ray, I totally agree with you. Is that not only do we have to talk the talk, but we need to walk the walk so that our young people can see how that walk is done. But then also to be encouraged, have your own walk. This is my walk. This is what I did, but I don't want you to stay there. If you decide that you want to have your own flavor and flair, I want you to do that. Own your own authenticity of who you are. So we are up on the 30 minutes. Listen, I want to give
I just want to throw one more thing in there.
I'm going to give you a chance to, Stephanie, since you're like ready to go, give you some closing thoughts. And then right after she's done, Coach Ray, you just close us out.
I just wanted to throw it in, especially for the rest of this month, be conscious of what you are saying to other adults in front of your kids, because they are absorbing every word that you say. And if you are coming down on a group of people, if your child's thinking that they want to be that type of person and they hear you calling those people bad names, you're not helping them. You're hurting them, because they're not going to feel comfortable.
And they may not even like you for that.
Yeah.
They may feel like, I'm not going to because No, you're so right, Stephen. Very good point. Very good point. Coach Ray.
That's my mic drop.
And it's a good one. It's a good one, Stephanie.
For me, I'll lead my final statement with the quote from Jamal King, 9 to 5 Millionaire. Your level of exposure will determine your level of excellence.
Mm,
And I say that because, like you said, the exposure piece for kids is key. You change the bar for your family. See, we talk about setting the bar. You change the bar for your branch of the family. So your kids got to see you excel in other ways because you didn't allow the tree that your branch grew on to hold you still. You grew beyond and created your own section. And how you do that is by exposing your kids by one, your actions. Get out of your comfort zone as a parent. Get out of your fears. Those are the main things that will help your kid grow. Not because God is not a God of fear. His expectation is for you to help your kids excel because every generation should go further than the generation before it. That's the way God set it up. So the expectation for us as adults is to always look to expose our kids to things that will help them take our generation, our bloodline further. So again, remember, the level of your exposure will determine your level of excellence.
excellent. Excellent. Love it. Love it. Love it. So we're at the top of the year. It is a new year. It's not a new academic year, but it is a new year. You're starting it off. And we're saying just grab a hold of the year. Like take the time to reset. And so we're recommended that you look at your time management, organize yourself, clean up your room, kids, parents, get your kids to clean up the rooms because that's a clean mind. Clean mind, clean mind. Re-engaging with your academics. Stephanie talked about if there's any surveys or any scholarships that you're looking for. Hey, look at the deadline. See if there's still opportunity. Don't give up. Just get busy. And so setting your priorities, get your priorities in order and check in with yourself. See where you are emotionally, parents, admins, check in with our young people, make sure that they're okay. And that's basically, so here we are. Happy New Year. And I'm really excited that this is going to be an incredible, incredible year. And we're just looking forward to it. So we're looking forward to more shows like this, more inspiration, more instruction. And wow, I'm loving that CEO project that you got working with the young people. So thank you so much for sharing that. We are out. We're out of time and we are out. So we love you so very much. Take care. Have a nice weekend.